It's time for a little comedy, a little content, and a lot of conversation. It's the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube. Now here's your host, Geno Jones.
Hey, it's showtime. What's happening, everybody? The Geno Jones Show. So I come to you live Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. out on the West Coast. Please subscribe to the Geno Jones Show YouTube channel. You and everybody you know and everybody you don't know, family, friends, co-workers, church members, sorority, fraternity, sisters and brothers. I was about to combine sorority, like fraternity, sorority? Yes, fraternities and sororities, even if you're not in the fraternity of sorority. It don't matter. Hell, you could be an alien from outer space, even folks you don't like. Tell them the best, the biggest, the baddest show in the business right here, the Geno Jones Show. So make sure you check it out. All right, make sure you subscribe and share all the episodes. Subscribe, share, like, and binge watch all my back episodes. So I come to you live Monday through Friday, like I said. We do it right around 6:30. Now, of course, this week, because the holiday, the first show of the new year was on Tuesday. So first of all, let me kick off the show by saying happy birthday today. All of my Sagittarius is celebrating a birthday. Comedian guy Torrey. You know, his brother Joe Torrey is also a comedian, originally from the Louis, they call it, St. Louis, Missouri. Of course, they're not living there now. They may have a home, but they're out there in Hollywood doing their thing. Guy Torrey is 54 today, still got that baby face. So happy birthday, Guy. Jason Mitchell, who played Eazy-E in the movie Straight Outta Compton that came out in 2015, the story of NWA. And like I said, he played the late Eric Eazy-E Wright. Jason Mitchell is 36 today. He's been in some other movies. He was in like this kind of redo of Superfly that came out a couple years back. Not the original, not the real Superfly, but the other movie. So Eddie Murphy and Michael Strahan's ex, Nicole Murphy, a model and businesswoman. She's done some reality TV too. I think seen her on TV. Nicole Murphy is 55, double nickel today. Happy heavenly birthday to one of the great dancers and choreographers in the history of the planet, Brother Alvin Ailey, the founder of the Alvin Ailey Dance Theater. He was born on this day in 1931, and one of the greatest scientists and inventors of all time was a black man, George Washington Carver. One of the few black people that we really learned, and we as black folks really learned about in school, like through history books. Because, back in the day, February Black History Month, it's only a few books. And they only taught you about, one of the first people they taught us about, George Washington Carver. He invented the peanut. Well, he did more than that. He was just a brilliant scientist and inventor. So he was born on this day in 1864. Correct, 1864. Also, he was a professor at the time it was called Tuskegee Institute, which is now Tuskegee College down in Tuskegee, Alabama. So happy heavenly birthday to George Washington Carver. So let me give you all a heads up. So tomorrow, man, boy, listen, it's gonna be fire. En fuego. I don't really speak Spanish. They say en fuego is supposed to be like hot. I'm talking about like hot as the sun's surface. Tomorrow, every show is fire, but it's gonna be fire tomorrow. What I'm gonna do, because last night we talked a little bit about Damar Hamlin, the NFL player who collapsed on the field during a game. On national TV, on Monday night, we talked a bit about him last night. So we really gonna take a dive and you don't want to miss tomorrow. You don't want to miss like right now, but you really don't want to miss tomorrow because it is going to be must-see TV. But speaking of Damar Hamlin, there's some great news about Damar Hamlin. He was a safety for the Buffalo Bills. Went to college, University of Pittsburgh, where I worked. I did a morning show for 3 years. So shout out to all my people back in the burg that's checking out the show. My man Paul Ellis, Eric Wiles, a.k.a. J.J. Stone, and everybody back in the burg, all my fans. Shout out to brother Dr. Michael Lynn. He's not like a real doctor, but that was his stage name, Dr. Michael Lynn. So Damar Hamlin, second-year player, like I said, a grad of the University of Pittsburgh, playing Monday night, very early in the game. Was making a tackle, and he collapsed. He actually died on the field, and they had to revive him on the field. He went into cardiac arrest. His heart stopped beating, and they were able to revive him. They got him to the hospital. They had to revive him again. He went into cardiac arrest a second time. So he's been in the intensive care unit since Monday night. So there's some great news according to his family. As a matter of fact, I've seen updates on TV. As a matter of fact, I saw some doctors who were part of the team of doctors that basically saved his life. So last night he opened his eyes and he was able to grab the hands of his family that's there with him in a Cincinnati hospital. God is awesome. If you don't believe in the power of prayer and you are offended by what I'm saying, I apologize. I mean no offense. But for me, it's a fact. God is awesome. And this is proof positive of the power of prayer. People who've been praying for this young man's health to come back, for healing. People who have been praying for the doctors and praying for the doctors and to God to touch and anoint their hands, their brains, their skill, and just touch and anoint them so they can use the skill and the knowledge that they've gained to save people's lives, to save this young man and help him return to somewhat normal life. So that is just great news. And by the way, it was an interesting story, so I heard. So a couple of the doctors, first thing, when Damar came out of, when he woke up, he wrote on a sheet of paper because he has a ventilator, so he still can't really talk because he's got this ventilator. It's in his mouth. But he was able to write down, and one of the first things he wrote down on some paper was, did we win? He wanted to know, first thing he wanted to know, did we win? Did his team win? And one of the doctors wrote back, or I think either wrote back or said, or both, yes, you won the game of life. That is like a scene out of a movie. Because yes, Damar, my brother, you have won the game of life. And that's the most important win you could ever get. You were given, actually, not a second chance, you were given a third chance. Because they had to revive you twice. They had to revive you. They had to restore and basically to restart your heart right there in the middle of the field with nearly 24 million people watching in real time, watching it live. And then they got you to the hospital and they had to revive you again. Your heart stopped beating again and they had to revive you. Like I said, God is awesome. So I just thought that was really exciting. Don't know what's going to happen with the playoffs. I really don't care. And I hope all these men, all these brothers, when I say brothers, I mean it as brotherhood. I don't mean it in any ethnic sense, even though the league, the NFL is 75% black. But you still have many white players, and that could happen to anybody. Doesn't matter. Black, white. I remember, as a matter of fact, last night's episode, if you were watching, people were talking about Monday. Well, this has never happened. No one has ever died on the football field, especially a game that was being televised. Well, no, actually it did. And I will never forget it because I was a kid, and I was watching it as a little kid. Early 70s, 1971. Just Google Chuck Hughes Number 85, he was a wide receiver for the Detroit Lions, and they were playing a game that was on regional television, and they were playing the Chicago Bears. And a kid who grew up on the south side of Chicago, I'm watching the Chicago Bears. And all of a sudden, this guy was running back to the huddle, and he just collapsed and fell face forward. And all of a sudden, you see people just kind of running onto the field, and they eventually took him off. And then later that evening, I remember hearing on the news, they said, oh my God, that man that collapsed on the field, he died. Had Chuck Hughes had the technology, had the team of doctors with the skill, the team of doctors who were working in Cincinnati, who were at the stadium when Damar collapsed and his heart stopped. Had Chuck Hughes had that technology and maybe had those doctors with that level of skill and expertise, maybe, who knows, Chuck Hughes would have survived. You know, I believe we heard that there was some heart disease that really caused him collapsing, because he wasn't even involved in a play. He wasn't tackled. He didn't try to tackle anybody. He was just running back to the huddle, and he collapsed. So I just thought that was some great, great news with Damar Hamlin. Now, he's still not completely out of the woods yet, because he still has a ventilator in. So listening to some doctors on television, the next move is when he's able to fully breathe on his own, they can take the ventilator out. Then he's got like a long rehab. You know, he's going to have to build up his lung capacity. First, he's just going to have to be able to walk, and eventually they'll put him on a treadmill, and so he can be able to lead a normal life. And of course, they're going to have to monitor his heart and his breathing. So he's got a long way to go, but he's come a long way. Literally, this man was brought back. He wasn't at the brink. He passed the brink. He was brought back to life twice. Yes, doctors, and thank God for the doctors, but thank God who was able to work through the doctors to help bring this man. It wasn't his time. As they say, when it's not your time, it's not your time. And apparently, it wasn't his time. So Damar, I don't know if you'll get to see this or not. I hope you do. Man, always bet on yourself. Always believe in yourself. You are 24 years old. You have a full life ahead of you. I'm sure there's going to be a team of doctors in your family that's going to make sure that you do the right thing, that you, whatever you need to eat and not eat. And you're an athlete. You are an elite world-class athlete. So your body was in great condition. Like 1%. I mean, athletes like you guys are like the 1% of people on the planet in terms of strength and conditioning. A world-class elite athlete. So that's going to help your recovery. But just always bet on yourself. Always believe in yourself. And shout out, congratulations. He's got like a nonprofit. He actually started in college to collect toys for needy children. So he's from a little town called McKees Rocks, Pennsylvania, which is really a suburb of Pittsburgh. Like I said, I know well because I had a #1 morning radio show there for 3 years. So he started this in college. So he had a vision that he wanted to give back. And I heard him talking. I saw some video. He wanted to give back to the town and the city that made him who he was. And he was a star in high school, Central Catholic High School in Pittsburgh. He was a star, like I said, at the University of Pitt, which is the University of Pittsburgh, but they call it the University of Pitt. So just really, really happy for him, but he's going to need a lot of help. Now, it's great that that nonprofit that he has, that had about, how much, I can't even remember the amount. I don't even think it had, did it have like $200,000? People had donated some money to it because he started it, like I said, when he was in college. And the nonprofit was to get those toys. But anyway, it's now up to, the last I checked, is his nonprofit is up to like $7 million. Now, he can't use that money for himself. It's a nonprofit. That money has to be used for the nonprofit and the purpose. Because when you are granted a nonprofit, there's certain laws that you can't use that money for your personal gain. Is to be used for whatever the purpose that you set up that nonprofit for, has to be used for that. So odds is, now here's the truth. So let me just go ahead and just put this on the table. Tell the truth, as they say, shame the devil. With the best recovery, this brother is not going to play another down in the NFL. Now, I'm not being negative. I'm just speaking a fact. And he's not going to play another down in the NFL, not because he may not want to, even if he's making a remarkable recovery. And even if the best doctors, teams of doctors, he could have 100 different teams of doctors to clear him and say that they've done all the medical testing, they've checked his heart and everything, and that they see no problem with him returning to the NFL. Trust me, you can bet money on this, because I'll bet money on it. These NFL owners, they're not going to sign him. They don't want to take a chance on him because they consider him too high of a risk. Who's to say that if he's making a tackle again, or somebody, maybe hits him, he's trying to make a tackle, and somebody decides to be the aggressor and initiate the contact, which is actually what happened Monday. It's a collision sport. It is a violent game. Who's to say, for whatever reason, while making a tackle, that a helmet doesn't wind up hitting him in the same spot in the chest? There's no owner that's going to sign him or allow a general manager to sign him. So he only played 2 years in the league. He doesn't qualify for a pension. We're going to talk about all this tomorrow, and I've got two guests. I got a coach. He didn't coach in the NFL, but he has been a personal trainer. So he has a company where he's a personal trainer, and it's like a skills coach for elite athletes, in terms of he'll put a program together. If they're like a wide receiver, there's a certain program in terms of to develop skill and strength, or if it's a running back, or if it's a defensive back, or like Damar was. He's a safety. Also, he's a high school coach, Chris Matthews, and former ESPN Sports Center anchor, Fox Sports 1, ESPN play-by-play announcer, and celebrity, legendary sports anchor in the Connecticut area. Eric Clemens is going to be my guest tomorrow. So we're going to talk about this, because this man, he got paid. He got paid for the game that when his heart stopped on Monday, he'll get a check for that game, because these players get game checks. So he will get that game check, and Buffalo's going to play again. So if he doesn't play, technically, the team doesn't have to pay him. So we hope and pray that they're going to do the right thing. There's no guarantee they will. I hope that the owner, a guy named Terry Pegula. So Terry Pegula is a billionaire who also owns the NHL hockey team in Buffalo, the Buffalo Sabres. Terry Pegula, so his net worth is nearly $7 billion. $6.7 billion. Mr. Terry Pegula, do the right thing. Give this brother his game check. Give him the game check. All right? Now, if they make the playoffs and go to the Super Bowl, there's certain money the winners will get. Each round of the playoffs, there's a certain amount of money the players get if the team wins. Actually, even the team that loses gets money too. And then the Super Bowl, the winning team will get, I'm just guessing, each player on the winning team, on whoever wins the Super Bowl, will probably get, I'm just guessing, maybe $200,000, somewhere around it, $250,000, a couple $100,000, just guessing, maybe somewhere in that range. The losing team will probably get about 125, just to guess. We'll have some more. I have some more receipts for you tomorrow. But best case scenario, he may get, what's going to happen, the team will vote. His teammates will vote to give him a share, an equal share of the money that they will get from being in the playoff and if they make it to and win the Super Bowl. So now I can guarantee that his teammates are going to vote him, and not just an equal share. I'm sure there may be a couple teammates, maybe his quarterback, even though he plays on defense, the young kid, the young brother Josh Allen, or maybe one of the star receiver, Stephon Diggs, some of the players who are making the most money, two of the more well-paid players on the Bills. They may say, man, you know what? I'm good. I'm gonna give Damar my share, my cut of this money that we won for winning playoff games and if we win the Super Bowl. Now, what would really be completely off the chain if they all say, you know what? All the money, each player, we're gonna take our share, and instead of taking that money, we're gonna go ahead and put it in a fund for Damar and give him all the share of all 53 players. So I'm assuming 53, because it's a 53-man roster, and on game day, I think 45 players are active, able to play that day. So it would be cool if all 53, now some of the guys are not making a lot of money like he wasn't. So, but it would be cool if enough of the players said, you know what? No, listen, Damar, we're going to give you our share of the winning money that we get, put it in a fund for you so you can live off. Because after this season, he won't get another dime from the NFL. He won't in salary or bonuses. He won't have NFL insurance because he won't be playing. And his brother's probably going to need some type of insurance. Definitely. After having an episode like this, he's going to need to see a doctor, a cardiologist on a regular basis. So he's going to need some kind of insurance. And he won't have any after this season. So just something to think about. We're going to take a deep dive about that tomorrow. So let me just say this, and I'll get into this more tomorrow. So all the jerseys that you buy, because somebody asked me about the NFL players, do they get any money? Because like in college, now, like the athletes can get money. They call it name, image, and likeness. So they can get money off their name, image, and likeness. But before, colleges could make millions, billions of dollars selling a player's jersey with his number on it and name, and the player couldn't get a dime. But the good news is in the NFL, the National Football League, the officially licensed jerseys, the players get 2/3 of that money. And the National Football League Players Association, the Players Union, gets the other 1/3 of the money. And then that 1/3 of the money goes into a pot. So every player who's a member of the Players Union gets a check, gets money. So even if you have a player who doesn't play that much, who's not making any money from jersey sales, they still get a cut of the money from jersey sales. Because you got your Tom Brady's, and you got your Dak Prescott's, and Lamar Jackson's, and Patrick Mahomes. Those players probably make, I'm just guessing, hell, Brady's probably make like $10 million a year. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes. You can Google the best-selling NFL jerseys by number. You'll find it out. So that's who's making the jerseys. The players whose jerseys selling the most are getting the most money from jersey sales. But then you got some guys on the same team that nobody's buying their jersey. But thanks to the NFL Players Union, that all the players in the Players Union, they get a cut of the jersey sale money. even if their jerseys are not selling. So if nothing else, you can go, like the Buffalo Bills, they have a website. The National Football League has a website. There's some stores, but, listen, I'm not knocking the hustle, but you can't buy his jersey from a bootlegger, because if you do, so if dude at the mall, the little kiosk, or when he come in the barbershop or the hair salon, and he's got a number 3 Buffalo Bills jersey that says Hamlin, you can buy it if you want to, but that ain't helping. Damar is not going to get 1 penny of that money. So if you really want to support this brother, go online, go to the NFL store, or just Google the Buffalo Bills, their website. They have a team store. Every team in the league has a store, and buy his jersey. So you at least know he'll get some. As a matter of fact, he'll get 2/3 of the money from that jersey sale. And that can help him out a lot. Thank you for letting me be a part of your life. As always, God bless each and every one of you, and especially you, and God, most of all, thank you for letting me do the Geno Jones Show. And thank you for having favor. Thank you, God, for having favor on young brother Damar Hamlin. And thank you for having favor on all of us who were able to wake up this morning and see a new day. So you had favor on us. All right. So I come to you live once again, like I said, Monday through Friday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. in Chicago, 3:30 p.m. on the West Coast. Allie Jones, she is the official wardrobe consultant. I call her the drip director of the Geno Jones Show. Check her out on Instagram. It's lx.ncl_. L like Lexi, X like extra, N like Nancy, C like Charlie, L like Larry, _. And you got my man Bruce Gage. He's also a wardrobe consultant, stylist for the Geno Jones Show. He's on Instagram, Miglio Di Mario Uomo, Miglio Dimario Uomo. Markel Bailey, the official barber and hairstylist for the Geno Jones Show. He is on Instagram. The CEO of Designer Cuts, Goose Creek, South Carolina. It's part of the Charleston, South Carolina Metro. Check him out on Instagram. Kel be cutting up, because Kel be cutting his ass up. It's KELBECUTTINUP. Shout out to everybody watching me live. Shout out to my man Groove Master Dre. Hello, mother. My #1 fan and executive producer, Mary Dixon, checking out the show right now. And everybody else is watching me live. Thank you so much. The next live edition of the Geno Jones Show is going to be Friday, tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. Every show is must-see TV. But oh my God. Tomorrow, Friday, or as I like to call it, Friday, is really going to be must-see TV. So, with my guest, Eric Clemens, like I said, formerly ESPN Sports Center anchor, play-by-play announcer, ESPN, Fox Sports 1, BET, also a local TV star, sports anchor in Connecticut, and Chris Matthews, Coach Chris Matthews. All that tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Until then, as always, be blessed. Thanks for watching. Pray for peace and continue to pray for Brother Damar Hamlin.
Subscribe and tune in to the next episode of the Geno Jones Show, exclusively right here on YouTube.